Okay, that was the subtle way of trying to see if we're actually live. What's happening, y'all? Welcome to the very, very glorious, very nicely appointed apartment office. I rent this little apartment here to write in. This is not where I live. Pretty good view though. Check it out. In this little video, what we're going to do is we're going to be using, which one's Facebook, by the way? That one's Facebook, that one's YouTube. Okay, trying to double camera it. We're going to be talking about how to actually close high-ticket clients, how to get the money in a cool and friendly way. Coming into our newly renovated Redneck Studio Center right here. So I just got this thing. This thing's called a Google Jamboard. It just came in the mail a couple days ago. So much fun, man. Love this thing. It's like a big whiteboard that you can erase real easy, but it's just way more expensive. It emits heat. And so that's pretty much the main benefits of this thing. But what I want to walk you through is a simple process for, look at all these beautiful notes, how to actually close the clients, right? How to get the money. So this is specifically for people who sell higher ticket stuff like advisory services, financial advisors, attorneys, consultants, whatever. How do you actually close the sale, right? So if, by the way, you like what you're hearing and you want to scheme on some ways to get more conversations with more qualified prospects and close more of them into clients, go to kerncall.com. Hard for me to say today for some reason. kerncall.com. If someone would type that in the comments, that would be very, very helpful. kerncall.com. Okay, so rule number one of this, all right, is already sell to people who like you. All right, and I'll spell that properly. That's the Georgia way to spell it. So, what do I mean by that? Well, it's pretty hard to get a total stranger who's never heard of you, doesn't necessarily already want what you're selling in the first place, to give you money unless you are one or both of these two things. Number one, an unbelievably good salesperson. Number two, super high pressure. I'm neither, right? So rule number one is to create a situation where you're only talking to people who actually know who you are, like you, trust you, know what you're selling, and know how much it is. You want to know how much it is to buy the stuff that we're selling at kerncall.com? You can get started for a whopping $1,800, okay? So always disclose it. That way you don't have to have this weird conversation with people where they're just waiting. So that's step number one, all right? Step number two, only talk to people who actually can pay you, right? Like, have you ever had that? Probably have. If you're selling high-ticket stuff, you run through a series of phone calls or people have requested consultations with you or whatever, and you get to the point, you're like, hey, you want to do something? They're like, I do, but I just don't have the money. And you're like, man, I just spent, whatever, an hour or whatever it was. I wish I'd known that to begin with. Well, you can know that to begin with, right? So one of the things we do in our business, we advise all of our clients to do this, is to put up a filtration system. And you can go one of two ways with this. You could try to be really subtle about it, and like imagine that they don't know that you're trying to filter out people with no money by saying things like, are you willing to invest in your business? And things like that, and like sort of beat around the bush. Or before they request a consult with you, they could fill out like a little form with their name and their email and their phone number and all that stuff. And they could say something like, hey, here's how much I charge. Is that something you're able to do in the event you want to work together? I think the latter works pretty good. What it's going to do is you're going to have way fewer calls, right? You're not going to have nearly as many people to talk to, but you're also going to include and improve your close rate there. So which would you rather do? If you're going to close 10 people this week, would you rather have 12 phone calls to close those 10 people or 100? Probably the 12. You know what I mean? So only talk to people with money. Oh, that's not the eraser button. All right, there you go. And so the third thing is to follow an effective closing process. Almost like we're going to go into a sales script here, but it's not really a sales script. Instead, it's just like a super friendly, genuinely beneficial and helpful conversation. So before you ever talk to the person, you have to have a clear understanding of exactly what it is you can do for your market, generally speaking, and exactly what it is you're selling. And so I know that's obvious, but I just want to state the obvious, just in case I need to. All right, so let's take that as a self-evident truth. So now, let's imagine that someone has requested a conversation with you, all right? And they already know you, they already like you because they've seen content or whatever. They trust you because you've used the oldest trick in the book, which is to demonstrate you can help them by actually helping them. And they've like qualified themselves like, yeah, I'm maybe interested in working with you, and if I choose to work with you, I can afford it. That's all you're trying to get, not some kind of hardcore commitment or anything. So now you're on the horn with them. Ooh, the pressure's on, okay? Are you ready for the high pressure sales call, secrets.biz? What if it's a real domain name? It could be, you never know. Okay, if it's a real domain name, that's awesome. All right, so here you go. This works pretty well for us. Start out, you find out their desired outcome. All right? Now, hear ye, so saith El Gordo, which is my legal name now. I just had to change to that. This isn't some psychological trick where you're trying to like find their, buying motivation or whatever. You're literally trying to find out here what they're hoping to accomplish by working with you in the event they become your client. So there's like a real suave, hypnotic NLP way to say this. Obviously there's a little sarcasm there. Goes a little something like this. Hey, in the event that you and I end up working together and you were my client or something, what kind of outcome would you want to achieve? Pretty obvious, right? Really basic. No need to manipulate it or whatever. And what you're trying to see here is whether or not you got a snowball's chance of actually helping them. So the example I always like to give is the person says, well, I want to get to $1 billion in sales this year. You don't know if you can help them yet, right? Because what if they're $999 million a year already? You just got to help them make the extra million. You never know. So step number 2 is you get the lay of the land. I call it LOL, lay of the land. It's a fancy way of saying you find out what they're doing right now to get their current results. So let's say I talk to the person and I say, in the event we decide to work together, typically, folks work with me over a 12-month period. At the end of the 12 months, what would need to happen for you to be really happy with our progress together? What are you looking to accomplish? Super simple, right? And they say, well, dude, I want to take the business to $5 million a year or whatever. Let's make it even simpler. I'm hoping I could get an extra 4 clients a month. I said, great. So now I know my outcome, right? 4 clients a month. And then the second way I'd segue into this is I'd be like, okay, how many clients are you getting now? They'd say, I don't know, 2. Great. What are you doing now to get those 2? This, that, and the other. I'd be like, all right, cool. Taking notes and all that kind of stuff. I'm not telling them what to do, not telling them how great I am, not telling them anything. And it's like, what's going on? The whole purpose of this is so you will know whether or not you can do that right there. Whether or not you actually can get them the outcome. Pretty important, don't you think? Like, wouldn't you want to know if you can help somebody before you ever took them on as a client? Like, that would suck to have a client and like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. I actually can't help you at all, and but I took your money anyway. Like, no, that's awful, right? So you want to know these things. Which now, let's assume, in this more down-to-earth, realistic example, someone says, I want to get an extra 4 clients a month. We get the lay of the land. We find out what they're doing, and they're not doing very much. And for sure you can help them. Now you go into the pre-close. All right. And this is where it gets super high pressure. Sales secret system.biz. All right. This is where we're really manipulating them. Are you ready? Okay. This is assuming that you're confident in your ability to help them. You say, I'm just going to put it I'm going to call it what it is, right? Well, it takes too long to write it out. High pressure pitch number 1. All right. This is where you say, ladies and gentlemen, probably shouldn't put this on tape. It's so high pressure. You say, based on what you just told me, I'm 100% certain I can help you and would be delighted to have you as a client. What questions can I answer for you? That's it. There you go. That was your high pressure sales pitch part 1. Okay? And so then you ixnay on the Auckentay, right? Don't say anything else. Stop talking. And they're going to start doing stuff. And one of the things that they're going to do is they could potentially say, I don't think I want to be a client. So what do you think you should do then? Well, I say you do whatever the hell you want to do, but what I do is I say, okay, cool. Anything else I can help you with? And they say no. All right, see you later. Pretty rare that that would happen, but it's feasibly possible. No point in trying to twist their arm. There's a billion of them. There's one of you. Like, God makes new people every single day. Seen it happen myself, right? So there's no point in trying to twist their arm and all that kind of crap. The more likely thing is they're going to start asking you buying questions. Like, okay, well, how does it work? What kind of results can I expect? And blah, blah, blah. And here's where we're going to try a brand new breakthrough concept called total transparent honesty in the results of their questions. So, when clients work with us, here's what they can expect, right? At first, they can expect to be a little bit overwhelmed. They're like, oh my gosh, okay. Man, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I got to do. And because we work with them and give consulting with them in very small groups, and sometimes even one-on-one, we sort of alleviate that feeling, and then we help them start implementing and doing stuff, which is immediately, 9 times out of 10, followed by a little bit of frustration and disappointment. Know why? Because nothing works the first time you try it, for the love of God, come on, right? So of course that's a natural feeling, and then we pick them up and we keep helping them and we're pushing them along and we're holding their hand and answering the questions and making sure everything's cool, and then they start seeing a little bit of results, which creates a sense of relief, and then they experience some consistency, and now they're happy. And that is exactly a perfect example of total transparent honesty. So that's what you tell your client, like whatever they can reasonably expect to experience, good, bad, and ugly, you tell them, right? And so they ask questions, you answer questions, you keep on answering until they're done with asking. When there's a little bit of a lull in the conversation, assuming you're still thinking that you can definitely get them this big result they want right here, now you say the following, okay? And it is, and this is for even higher pressure, okay? This is the super high pressure one, all right? And this is where we're taking, like, hey, Grant Cardone got nothing on me when it comes to high pressure, all right? This is where we're putting so much pressure on him, probably illegal in some states. You probably can't even do this in Tennessee, all right? So this doesn't apply to Tennessee residents. You say, well, based on everything we've been talking about, I still feel 100% confident that I can help you get the results that you would like me to help you get. And you say, what? And I'm going to write the whole thing out. You say, what would you like to do? I'd be delighted to have you as a client. What would you like to do? Now they're going to do one of 3 things at this stage. Oh, by the way, at that point, you stop talking again, right? So I'll say it for you again. They've just asked 7 million questions. You answered them transparently and honestly. Last thing you want to do is get in a consulting or coaching arrangement with a client who like expected A and got B, and now it's awkward and it sucks, right? So you might as well tell them all the good, bad, and the ugly. So answer the billion questions, and now you're at the stage where there's a lull in the conversation. They've questioned, they're done with the questions, and you say, you know, I'm still 100% confident that I can help you. I would love to have you as a client. What would you like to do? And then stop talking. Okay, so that was the scripting for the very high pressure sales pitch there, not applicable to the residents of Tennessee. Okay, so now here, one of these 3 things is going to happen. Number 1, it's possible that they're going to go, I don't want to. And at that point, you use the magic objection, the Kern objection handling sequence 3.0. You go like this. So, all right, I'm going to do it again. Now, you say, you pretend to be them, all right? So you say you don't want to.
I don't want to.
Okay. Anything else I can help you with? That's it. That's your whole objection handling sequence. The best word in the English language, one of them is next, right? There's plenty of people out there that need your help. You ain't got to try any of this stupid, oh, what's it going to take? You know, like forget about that. All right, so the second thing that might happen, and could happen, doesn't happen every time, but it's not unrealistic to expect it to happen if you've done everything else, right? Is they say, this sounds great. Let's get started. In that place, you're like, okay. You take the credit card number, whatever you do to make the sale, and you've sold yourself to somebody. Most common thing, all right, is the dreaded words that so many salespeople fear. Let me think about it. I don't know why people get so scared about this. You know what that translates to? Let me think about it. Here's what it translates to. It translates to, well, I'm very interested in this, and I am what is commonly known as a rational and intelligent human being. Therefore, it takes me a little while to make important life decisions. I'm going to take the required amount of time to give this the required amount of thought so I can do the unthinkable, which is to make an intelligent decision about what is going to be best for me in my future. That's what that translates to. It doesn't mean you didn't do a good job in selling them, for God's sake. They're normal people. So here's the way you answer that question. You say, actually, you pretend to be the person who's got to think about it, okay? So I'm going to do the hardcore sales pitch, all right? I'm going to say it's so hardcore it might freak you out. So just know this is role playing. This isn't real. Okay. All right. Based on everything you just said, totally confident I can help you get the results you want. What do you want to do? I'd love to have you as a client.
Let me think about it.
Okay. What do you want me to do? Boom. And then stop talking. Here's what they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you when to follow up with them. Right? They're going to say something along the lines of, well, why don't you give me a call back in a couple days? At which point you say, okay, what do you say, Thursday? And they'll say, Thursday's no good. You say, okay, cool. Friday? And they'll say, yeah, okay, Friday's pretty good. Say, okay, what time do you want me to call you on Friday? How about 11? Cool, okay, I'm going to put it in my calendar to call you Friday at 11. Sound good? Great. All right, man. Well, I enjoyed talking with you. If there's anything else you need, you got my number, you got my email, reach out. Other than that, I'll talk to you Friday at 11. See you later. Now here's what's going to happen. Come Friday at 11, a couple of options are going to happen here, okay? One option, they're going to ghost you. They just flaked out and they weren't, they didn't have the cojones to tell you no. Happens, whatever, you're going to be okay. That's option number one. If you can't get them, you call them a couple times. If they keep ghosting you, just quit messing with them. That's a secret code for, I don't really want it, I'm just a coward and don't want to tell you. All right, totally fine. You didn't do anything wrong. Option number two is you call them and they have some more questions. And you answer them and they either buy or don't. Option number three is you call them and they say no, in which case you say, all right, see you later. Option number four is you call them and they say, yeah, dude, thought it over, sounded great, let's go. And typically, you're going to close, I don't know, half of the I need to think about it, folks. And I'm really just pulling that number out of my butt. You know what I mean? So there's no science to it, but I wouldn't expect to close all of them by any means. The big key takeaway here is two things. Number one, sales call needs to be all about them, what they want, how they're going to get it, your confidence and the ability to get it for them. That's it, right? And then you just convey that confidence, tell them you'd love to help them, answer their questions, let them come to a decision. That's thing number one. No pressure, no weirdness. Thing number two, don't be having these conversations with just everybody, right? Otherwise, of course, you're going to be talking to people with no money or people who have no idea what the heck they're freaking talking to you about in the first place and have no use or want or desire for your services. So, if you deliberately attract people who can afford you and you cultivate a good relationship with them by using the oldest trick in the book, which is to demonstrate you can help them by actually helping them, then you let them come to you and ask to talk to you. And you filter out the folks who clearly have no business talking to you. And you use the little framework I gave you, you're going to sell pretty good. You're going to have a pretty good time. You're going to get pretty good amount of clients, however many you want. Depends on how many you feed into your system, So if you'd like to brainstorm some ideas on how to build a system that consistently and dependably generates these types of conversations for yourself, go to kerncall.com. Real hard one to say today. kerncall.com. K-E-R-N, that's my last name. C-A-L-L, relatively easy to spell there. Hope you found today's video helpful. Y'all have a good time. Over and out from the Redneck Studios with no lighting, no microphones, nothing. But a beautiful Google Jamboard that only emits roughly 7,000 degrees of heat when you stand in front of it for just the right amount of time. Okay, y'all, take it easy.